My best advice would be to you guys would be to take every opportunity you can to ride every horse that comes your way, to get lots of experience on different horses, even if they're not necessarily the most talented or able, but get that experience and get out there. And I think that's what makes riders at the end of the day good exposure to as many competitions as possible, and just go for it. Don't hold back. My horses get fed a mixture of hard food and hay. They spend a lot of time in their paddocks, so they get quite a decent amount of grass. Back in the UK, the grass grows very well all year round. It's so wet there that we don't normally have a shortage, so that would be quite a big part of their diet. When they're stable, they get a mixture of hay and haylage. Haylage is slightly fermented hay. I know you don't get much of that over here either. We don't feed much alfalfa hay, which I believe is available here in Australia. And then hard feed, my horses would get fed a couple of feeds a day, normally, basic rations, and I feed a cube made by Spillers, and again, quite a low energy cube mixed in with some chaff, and then their vitamins. I'm a big feeder of oil and some electrolytes if necessary. And then they would have their diet increase depending on the work they were in, and they'd go up from a layoff cube, as we call it, to a high fibre, and then a power cube for the ones that are a little bit lazier. And sometimes I'd top it up with some grain. Either you can do a barley or an oat, micronized or rolled, as a little bit of something to give them a bit more energy if your horse is a bit idle. But very often, some of my best horses, the buzzier ones, compete at 4-star level on just 2 feeds a day of the layoff cube, which is what you give ponies and horses when they're just in the field. But it's a great base, and they do very well on it. It's very hard to, when you've had a fall and depending on the reason for the fall, it can take a lot to get back in the saddle and to get your confidence going. I think the most important thing is to get back on and just back to basics. Don't push yourself. Just enjoy being back on a horse again, and be on a horse that you trust. I think if you've had a fall that know the reason why you've had a fall, it's a much easier recovery. But if you have a totally inexplicable fall where, a horse just misjudges something or has a random, fall on the flat, it's very easy then to doubt yourself, and you believe every horse is going to fall. So it takes massive amount of time, quite a lot of perseverance, and my one thing would be to just to back right off and just enjoy it for what you can, and don't set yourself immediate goals. I think a lot of people would tend to push themselves too fast and want to get back in the saddle and prove that they're fine, and it's totally fine to not be fine. It's very normal to be quite wary and scared, and just get your confidence, and lots of little fences when you're ready, and it's amazing how when the confidence just starts, it then comes very quickly, but it takes quite a long time, or can do, to actually just to start in the first place, having had a real fright. I think I'd have to say it's the cross-country phase. I think if it wasn't the cross-country phase, we wouldn't be doing eventing. I mean, there's other things to do riding-wise than terrify yourself around cross-country courses. So I think most of us event riders would say that we love the cross-country. We do sometimes wonder why we say that, because on the Saturday morning we're all feeling fairly sick and full of nerves, and it's just important to realise that's a very normal feeling. I think that I look at the dressage as it's a necessary evil, really, and the same for the show jumping. You've got to be able to do those phases, but the exhilaration and the thrill of the cross country is undoubtedly what it's all about. The important thing is to remember why you love a sport. You know, I love riding horses. I love being with the horses and the challenge of each individual horse. They're all so different, and some horses, they just test you in different ways. So there's never a dull moment. And I think beyond that, there's the desire to succeed, the desire to win, the excitement of the competition, and then just the exciting feeling of when a horse is really cracking it. You think, actually, he's just, he's really nailing this now, and it's really, it's really good fun. But it's I've been in it a long time, so there must be that in me that keeps me going, because like in any sport, you get your knocks and your ups and the downs, but I think it's a great game to be in, and fantastic life.